What is up, Adam Avalos Realtor? I'm going to try to make the shortest video on what I'm trying to say, but I think there's a lot of good information in there. I have a lot of people coming to me who are getting ready to list their house. Some of them, are a little further along in the process than others, and some of them are kind of just putting the feelers out there. And some of them maybe wanting to wait a few months. And I think we're getting into a really, really good time to sell your house in Yuba City, and there's data to reflect that. And so I wanted to make this video just to kind of show people. I've done it before, but I really want to bang it in people's heads because I feel strongly about it, how important it is here in Yuba City to be able to recognize what the trends are, the way the market's moving, and then, to be able to make educated decisions for yourself. But this is a super crude video. So, I know you're not going to be able to see the numbers and things. Maybe it's going right to left. I have no idea. But essentially, this is 3 years ago. And this is the tail end of COVID here. And this chart here, it shows you what the list priced for a home originally, the list price was, and then it shows you also the sale price in comparison to that list price. And so as you'll see here in COVID, you can just take my word for it. Homes were selling in Yuba City at the tail end of COVID, 101, 102% of the original list price, which means if you had a $500,000 home, the home, on average was selling for $500,000, $510,000 over asking. But if you look at this chart here, there's months on the bottom, and you can see every time it dips here, there's a dip here, there's a dip here, and there's a dip here. This is 3 years. Every time that it dips, these are the winter months. This is essentially, it starts, from about October, November-ish, and then goes about till February, till we start to see some kind of climbing up. And so, this is pretty severe. I don't know that we're going to see this all the time. That was probably a market correction post-COVID, but, some of these here and some of these here, these people that bought homes here, like for instance, 95% the percentile versus the list price. So people who bought a house during these winters on average saved 5% off of the list price of the home, versus you can see in the summer months here, these numbers are hovering really close to the 100% mark at 98 and 99. So you can just see there is a huge advantage to selling in the spring and summer months. This one right here is blown up. This is the last year right here. This is 2024. And as you can see, here, this is February right here. And as we come out of February, the market really starts to heat up. And this is 100% right here, the top. So you can see the best it ever got was at 99 last year. But you can see down here in the winter where it's lowest, it got to, again, 96, 95%. So 5%, you could technically save on a home's list price in the winter versus if you're out there trying to buy in the summer. So for sellers, what does that mean? So for sellers, it means that if you're thinking about selling, you really don't want to get deep into the fall or deep into the winter. And I know that sounds far away, but trust me, every single year I have it where, people are calling me talking about, getting things ready. And then, life gets busy. We do things. I'm sure in the summer we take vacations, and then by the time we get around to it in August and September, unfortunately, the market has changed. Good for buyers that it starts to change. And I try to get my buyers to all get out there in the wintertime. But for us sellers, I think the data is clear. Like if you're trying to get top dollar for your house, not just top dollar, if you're trying to get excellent terms, if you're trying to find a good buyer for your home, if you don't want to sit on market for a long time, you really have to be cognizant about the time that you're listing the property. And the same goes for buyers. I really think there's kind of a science to this. I'm not the best example. I showed my wife a house last year in June, and we ended up buying it. And I know we didn't get a really good deal on it because, but we loved the house. So I understand there's situations for, everything. Sometimes you just love something and you got to have it. But, if we're trying to either make the most money or buy a house and save the most money, timing the market and knowing the data is extremely important. So sorry for the long video, guys. Just want to share with you. Have a wonderful day.